From the very start, I already had issues with making Lady, mainly visualizing what she'll look like, as originally I had the idea to use one of 3 ideas, 2025 Thomas. The idea here was that I was just gonna do exactly what I did with Oliver, but change up the cab as well. Not a bad idea, but in execution probably would have not looked as good as I thought it would. All engines go Percy. Yeah, no, there's no way. Trackmaster 2 Percy. You're joking. Okay, my idea here was that because Lady seems to be shorter than Thomas, not just shorter in length, but shorter in height, I thought this would work. It does not work. It does not work. So I made a community post about this, and I had a lot of ideas coming through in comments. However, one struck out to me, and it was just to use all those parts in one sort of custom. And while I was doing this, I stumbled upon a post on Twitter by @WeedThomas4472, where they made an edit of Lady using Nia's cab. And so that gave me the inspiration to use Nia's cab instead of Percy's cab or something like that. So it was set. I grabbed all the engines that I needed and began to work. The first step was to cut off the cab from Nia, which wasn't too big of a deal for me, as I was already using Nia for a Rosie custom, and unfortunately, Rosie and Nia don't look that similar. So I took Nia's cab, sanded the front, and sanded off the rivets, and then I began to cut the bunker off. Now, I specifically cut off just above where her lining ends, or where it begins. So it's not too short, but not too big either. Once that was cut, I sanded down everything that I could so it was a nice smooth finish. I filled in the back cab and the bunker with cardstock, and so I set aside the cab for now, as I'll do the rest when I'm doing the rest of the body. Now that was pretty easy, so I went on to get the Trackmaster 2 Percy and cut it off as well. I removed the boiler and smoke box primarily, as that was originally what I was going to use anyway. But as you'll soon see, this idea really started to fall apart. Now I just had to grab the All Engines Go Footplate from Percy, which was very simple and very quick, as all I had to do was cut off a little bit and then the glue just sort of fell apart on its own. Once that was popped off, I was able to sand off some spots and make it so that way it's more uniquely shaped, as the front part slopes down. I also made the other sides not stick out as much. Look, I can't explain it. You just gotta look at the pictures, alright? What I also did was glue the cab right onto the footplate. So I glued those 2 pieces together and moved on to the boiler, which was a major screw up. Lady has a very thin sort of lip to her boiler, which made me stupidly assume that I could use Percy.
What?
And slowly sand it down, or cut off the top piece, and then make my own sort of boiler on the sides.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This did not go to plan. So, I decided to cut his boiler and leave myself with only the top piece, which basically gave me no room to work with at all. I abandoned this part and decided to just scratch build a boiler using cardboard and cardstock, which very quickly turned out to not be the case, as when I was trying to make a sort of rib cage for Lady so that way the boiler can actually fit onto it, the glue just was not responding. So I ended up taking it apart, which was very easy considering the glue didn't even stick to the cardboard. But then I had an epiphany, a holy grail moment. Trackmaster 2 Gordon. It was perfect. His boiler was large enough to hold a battery compartment, but thin enough so that way it could actually work for Lady. So I scrapped the original 2 ideas and used Trackmaster 2 Gordon instead, immediately cutting off the boiler and smoke box from the original body. Then I removed a little bit of the portion at the front, so that way I could add cardstock and make the boiler just a tiny bit more narrow. Now, it was time to assemble Lady together with her cab, footplate, pistons, boiler, and smoke box. She also had 2 side tanks as well, and there was also a very noticeable hole at the very front, even when I put the boiler on. So I cut some pieces of craft popsicle sticks, using them for the front of the cab, so that way there's not a really big hole at the front, and then use them for the side tanks as well. I also cut very thin ones for the lamps. As well, the lamps are thinner with the new 2025 models, and I wanted it to make it look like the new models. Then I used a little bit of milliput for the base of the funnel, as well as the base of the dome, which you can't really see on my model since it's pretty small, but milliput was also used in some portions, such as the back of the cab, so that way there was more of that sort of curve there. I also used some leftover milliput to make a little tiny lamp at the very back. Then I used a Lego Technic piece for the main funnel portion with cardstock wrapped around it. This is just that way, you know, it could actually stick up straight rather than crumbling in my hands. For both the funnel top and the dome, I used 2 hats from Dreadbear, a Five Nights at Freddy's character. Now, I understand that there's not a lot of Dreadbears out there now, but thankfully, I have an entire package. I have multiple bags. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about that. There's also more stuff over there. Now it was time to paint. The main body was made using Folk Arts metallic paint, specifically 36272 Sparkling Fuchsia. That was used for the main body as well as the main portion of the funnel. I then used Apple Barrel's 20595E Concord Grape and 21885E Jet Black to mix them together and make the darker portions of Lady, specifically the base of her funnel, the footplate, and the cab roof. Chrome gold was also used for the gold portions of Lady, specifically her top funnel, the smoke box, the lamps, side rods, dome, whistle, and lining. I then used jet black to paint the cab, so that way there's sort of that negative space, and then used a black Posca pen for the windows. I then covered the entire model in Mod Podge to protect the paint. One thing I did do is add a Tomy lady face, and I specifically painted her eyes to look off to the left, or what's our right and her left, to sort of recreate the scene at the end of the movie where she's talking with Thomas. And so that's where she sits right now, and I'm pretty happy with how she turned out, honestly. If anything, I'll update her in the future, but as it stands, again, I'm very happy with her, and this is honestly my best model for this new range. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and want to see more of this kind of video, this is sort of the first time I'm doing this kind of video, then let me know down in the comments below, because I might make more of these. Anyway, I just want to give you all a very big thank you for subscribing and sticking with me. I can't believe that at this point we're at, like, what, 3,000 subscribers now? That's honestly kind of crazy to me. So anyway, again, thank you all so much for watching my stupid little videos. It's really, oh my god, it really means a lot. I can't put into words, I really can't. But anyway, again, thank you all for watching and have a great day. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, enjoy it, and here's to 2026. Let's hope for a good year next year, because Lord knows we need one of those.